Welcome to another episode of 30 Weird Fun Facts. Hit that subscribe button to stay connected, grab a seat, and get ready to have your mind blown. Let's jump right in. Number 1. Sperm whales never forget a friend. All whales are social animals, but the sperm whale in particular displays an ability to recognize and remember other individual whales. They even show preferences for certain other whales that remain consistent over their lifespans. Just like you'd rather spend your time with your best friends or favorite family members than other people, sperm whales have WFFs, whale friends forever, with whom they love to hang out. Number 2. Muhammad is thought to be the most popular name in the world. Step aside, John, James, Mary, and Jane. The most popular name in the world is believed to be Muhammad. According to the BBC, a majority men and boys around the world share this name. The popularity is thanks to a Muslim tradition of naming every firstborn son after the Islamic prophet. Number 3. Penguins propose to their mates. Not only do penguins mate for life, but they also have a ritual to mark the occasion. But since they can't get down on one knee, male Gentoo penguins propose by hunting down the smoothest, roundest pebble to present to their potential mates. If the female penguin accepts his offer, she adds the pebble to her nest, and the two will soon breed. So important are these pebbles that male penguins have been known to fight over the most perfect ones. Number 4. Vikings gave kittens to new brides. The Vikings of ancient Scandinavia weren't quite the bloodthirsty brutes that Hollywood typically portrays. For example, on the occasion of a marriage, some Viking communities would give the new bride a kitten as a wedding present. Freyja, their love goddess, was said to ride in a cart pulled by a team of cats, so bringing a cat into a new household brought a blessing of love to the newlyweds. Number 5. Smiling helps us understand other people's feelings. Smiling is a universal human expression. In fact, even people who have been blind since birth and have never seen a face will smile when happy. Smiles are even contagious. Our brains will often direct us to mimic the facial expressions of the people around us, which has the effect of helping us understand the way other people are feeling without requiring conscious thought. When we mimic the expression, we know what it's like to feel that expression, and we can respond appropriately. Number 6. You might soon be able to compost yourself in the US. When you pass away, you could choose to have your body buried or cremated. But soon, there may be another option: composting. In April 2019, a bill was passed in the state of Washington to make natural organic reduction a legal option. The process can turn a human body into compost within weeks by giving the natural process of decomposition a gentle boost. According to IFL Science, bodies are put in a temperature-controlled rotating vessel along with some wood chips, straw, and gases. After the process is completed, a cubic yard of soil per person is left, which loved ones can then take home to grow a tree or a plant from if they so wish. Number 7. A former NBA star is in the business of saving sharks. Between 2002 and 2011, Chinese basketball star Yao Ming played for the Houston Rockets. He was popular all over the world and remains the only non-US born player to lead the NBA in all-star votes. After injuries forced him to retire, he turned his attention back to his home country, where poached shark fins for soup were decimating world shark populations. Working with a non-profit called WildAid, Yao has used his popularity to educate his fellow Chinese people about the problems with shark fin soup. Number 8. NASA was sued by 3 men for trespassing on Mars. NASA has been working on Mars-related projects for years, but their exploration efforts faced an unexpected situation in 1997 when they were sued by 3 men for trespassing on the Red Planet. We inherited the planet from our ancestors 3,000 years ago, the men from Yemen told the Arabic language newspaper Al Thawri, according to CNN. However, in an interview with CNN, NASA brushed off the suit. Their news chief, Brian Welch, told the outlet, while apparently trying not to laugh, "It's a ridiculous claim. Mars is a planet out in the solar system that is the property of all humanity, not 2 or 3 guys in Yemen." Number 9. Velociraptors were actually feathered dinosaurs. If you know about velociraptors from Jurassic Park, then this may come as quite a surprise. While scientists have been able to figure out that these vicious hunters used to have feathers, the question of how feathered they were is still unanswered. It's possible that they just had tufts of feathers on their arms, head, or possibly all over. Number 10. Swedish rabbits compete for the high jump championship. Dogs can compete in professional shows to prove their agility, intelligence, and persistence. Horses also put on excellent demonstrations of grace and dexterity. Why not give rabbits a chance to show their stuff? In Sweden, a contest known as kanin hoppning pits rabbits against each other, as their owners lead them over jumps and around obstacles to complete a course in the shortest time with the fewest errors. There are also high and long jump contests. The world records are 3.25 feet high and 9.8 feet long. Number 11. Dark chocolate is good for your heart. You've probably heard that dark chocolate, a cacao content of less than 60%, is full of antioxidants. But did you know it's good for your heart as well? Research shows that dark chocolate can reduce levels of LDL, bad cholesterol, and increase HDL, good cholesterol, making it harder for plaque to build up in your arteries. There's also some evidence that it increases blood flow to the brain in the hours after you eat it. If you can pass up sugary white or milk chocolate for high-quality dark chocolate, your body will thank you. Number 12. Elephants can hear with their feet. You'd think that with those enormous ears, elephants would be able to pick up on every sound both near and far. But it turns out that to detect distant noises, the animals also hear with their feet. Normally, they would hold their big ears out like a parabola and scan back and forth. But to detect distant noise and vocalizations, they'd freeze and lean forward and put weight on their front legs. Caitlin O'Connell, the Stanford University research associate who discovered the phenomenon, told in an interview, "Sometimes they'd even lift up a front foot. All of them would do this at the same time. It was too coordinated to be a coincidence." Number 13. A dog came in 7th at the Elkmont Half Marathon. One morning in Elkmont, Alabama, a young hound dog named Ludivine slipped out of her owner's yard. She spotted a large group of humans, so she joined them, and when they started running, so did she. In fact, she ran for 13.1 miles, the exact distance of the town's first half marathon. Fellow runners kept her hydrated, and she ended up finishing in 7th place. She would have done even better if she hadn't occasionally wandered off the route to get petted or sniff a rabbit. Ludivine received a medal for her performance, and the race is now named the Hound Dog Half Marathon in her honor. Number 14. A woman bought an entire toy store just to give the toys away. As Christmas of 2015 was approaching, New York resident Christine Suchman happened to pass a toy store that was closing for good. She was already in the habit of donating lots of toys to foster children every holiday season, but that year, she decided to buy the whole shop. She bagged up all the toys, stuffed animals, and school supplies and brought them to the city's Department of Homeless Services. Hundreds, if not thousands, of children had a very Merry Christmas that year. Number 15. Liechtenstein has the most unusual military campaign. The tiny, landlocked European country of Liechtenstein is one of the few nations with no standing army. In fact, the last military conflict in which they participated was the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, when they sent a regiment of 80 men to fight for Austria. Though these troops never did any actual fighting, the story goes that they soon returned to Liechtenstein with 81 men, as they had made an Italian friend along the way. Number 16. A 6-year-old boy became a museum's director of fun. When he heard the director of his favorite museum was retiring, 6-year-old Sam Poynton from Leicester, England, wrote a letter to the National Railway Museum in York. However, it was no ordinary letter. It was an application for the director's job. Though the museum bosses recognized that Sam could hardly commit to a full-time job, what with his school schedule, they were so impressed with his love of trains that they invited him to the museum and even created a new job title, especially for him, Director of Fun. Number 17. A celebrity chef feeds victims of hurricanes. Recent years have brought severe hurricanes to the southeastern United States, Texas, and Puerto Rico. The damage, particularly in Puerto Rico, was severe, leaving many people without electricity or clean water for months. That's when celebrity chef José Andrés jumped into action. Beginning in October 2017, his charity World Central Kitchen began cooking and giving away free meals, sometimes as many as 45,000 a day, to to Puerto Ricans as they began to rebuild. His team stayed for a year and provided 3.6 million meals in all. But he isn't done. As Hurricane Florence bore down on the East Coast, Andres set up shop in North Carolina and did the same thing, delivering meals to shelters, response teams, and areas without access to food. Number 18. A Masai tribe donated cows to the United States after 9/11. In the aftermath of the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, many countries around the world offered their sympathy and support to the United States. Perhaps none gave quite so poignant a gift, though, as the Masai people of Kenya. In 2002, following their cultural traditions of helping each other through times of grief and struggle, they gifted 14 cows to the United States. It took some time to figure out what to do with the cows, but ambassadors ultimately decided that they would stay in Kenya and that their offspring would help provide an education fund for the generous tribe. Number 19. Looking at your old photographs can make you feel better. If you're feeling blue, you might want to pull out an old photo album or scroll through the pictures on your phone. A psychologist at Open University in the UK found that flipping through old personal photos can improve your mood and help you relax. In fact, it has a stronger effect than listening to music, having a glass of wine, or eating chocolate. All things that also have a positive effect on mood. Number 20. The world's first animated feature film was made in Argentina. Even if you know a lot of Disney trivia, you might assume that the honor of first animated feature film belongs to Walt Disney's 1937 movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But 20 years earlier, a full-length animated feature film was made in Argentina. It was a political satire called El Apóstol, made up of 58,000 drawings, and had a running time of 70 minutes, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Number 21. The Mars rover, Curiosity, is a huge success. For the last 12 years or so, while you've been going to school or work and living your life, a robot has been trundling tirelessly across the surface of Mars, sending back massive amounts of information about the Martian surface and atmosphere. Think about that for a moment. A group of humans got together, built a robot, named it Curiosity, and shot it out into space much farther than any human has ever gone. It even got a sibling. In 2020, NASA launched a new rover to join it. Number 22. There's a Marvel character who wears a hearing aid. Pedro Perez, also known as Blue Ear, was created by Nelson Ribeiro and Manny Medeiros at Marvel Comics back in 2014. The duo created the character in honor of a little boy named Anthony Smith, who refused to wear his hearing aids because he didn't see any of his favorite superheroes doing the same. Not only did the move help highlight the needs of the hearing-impaired community, but it also turned out to be a big hit with kids based in US and around the world. Number 23. Winnie the Pooh cheers up sick children with phone calls. When actor Jim Cummings isn't at work voicing Winnie the Pooh, and Tigger too, he volunteers with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, calling children in hospitals while staying in character. Sometimes the children will smile for the first time in months when Pooh says hello, warming the hearts of their beleaguered parents as well. Number 24. An overlooked astronomer was finally recognized for her groundbreaking discovery. The only female graduate student in the astronomy department at Cambridge University in 1967 made an important discovery: 4 pulsing light sources in deep space, now called pulsars. Her team published a paper, but her advisor, Anthony Hewish, was listed as the first author. When the Nobel Prize Committee decided their work deserved the prestigious award, only Hewish and another man received the prize. Finally, in 2018, Belle Burnell was awarded the Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics, one of only 4 such awards ever given out. She has vowed to use the $3 million prize to establish a scholarship fund for struggling grad students. Number 25. An injured Olympic runner crossed the finish line with his dad. At the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, British sprinter Derek Redmond went into the semi-final round of the 400 meters race with the fastest qualifying time. Just after the 250 meters mark, however, he tore his hamstring. Somehow, he got back up and continued hobbling down the track. As he went, his father Jim rushed in from the stands and wrapped an arm around his son's back, helping him cross the finish line and creating an unforgettable moment for everyone watching. When the 2012 Olympics came to London, Jim Redmond served as a torchbearer for the Olympic flame. Number 26. If you tried a new variety of apple every day, it would take more than 20 years to try them all. If you're the kind of person who appreciates variety and would love to taste test a new type of apple every day of the week, then you're in for a decades-long endeavor. It would take you more than 20 years to try each of the 7,500 varieties of apples in the world. Number 27. The most peaceful period in history is happening right now. While it may seem hard to believe given the media's focus on war and violent crimes, we're actually living in the most peaceful era of human history. Not only have stable governments around the world allowed for mediation and cooperation to prevent war, but technological and medical advancements help us live longer, more productive lives than ever. Of course, violent conflicts still exist, but widespread education and growing awareness of other cultures have helped, and may continue to help, improve quality of life and reduce the chances of early death. Number 28. 100 doesn't mean 100. The word 100 is actually derived from the Old Norse word hundrath, which actually means 120, not 100. More specifically, hundrath in Old Norse means long hundred, which equals 120 due to the duodecimal system. But good luck trying to argue that your $100 bill is worth 20% more than it is. Number 29. Different cultures discovered zero at different times. The idea of zero as a number was invented throughout the world at different times in history. Despite this scattered adoption, it's generally accepted that the Indian astronomer and mathematician Brahmagupta brought up the concept of zero for the first time around 600 AD. Besides this, Brahmagupta contributed a lot to mathematics and astronomy, and is known for explaining how to find the cube and cube root of an integer, and also gave rules facilitating the computation of squares and square roots. Number 30. The word pandemonium was coined as the name of hell's capital. In his epic poem Paradise Lost, John Milton invented the word pandemonium as the name of the capital of the underworld, stemming from the Greek words for all and little spirit demon. The term roughly translates to something like place for all demons. When we use the word today, it usually refers to a kind of chaos, but Milton invented the word to describe a truly unpleasant sounding place. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel for more fun videos.